Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Canadian Esports Championship Series. Today, we're casting the preseason grand finals of our tournament that we ran this weekend. My name is Moore Rice, and this is Funky D with me today. Let's get right into the draft. But before then, I'd like to mention a few of those sponsors that we have today: No Frills, Red Bull, Powerland, and Brooklyn Bodega. Let's get into the draft.
All right. Yeah, it should just be starting right away. The players were in the lobby chat speaking a lot about how much they love our sponsors. But yeah, here we are as we get into chat. What are you expecting from these finals?
I'm expecting a good series overall. These are two of the clearly the best teams that we've seen in this preseason. This is the finals that everybody expected. These are the highest ranked players, and I'm expecting to see a good series. And this first ban is very expected. The 80 carry for Super Copium, Breedable Rat, is a Twitch main, and that's going to get off the board right away.
Yeah, always smart to take out those comfort picks. I think it was in the famous words of Dopa that said that one tricks are all at you two ranks below what they are on their one tricks. So definitely putting that to optimal use as the Ivern and Xin Zhao come out for both teams, taking away a jungler.
Yep, the Kennen is a good ban against Tomato Tom for the Bisons. He is a very strong Kennen player. The Ivern is a ban against the jungler for Super Copium, who is a great Ivern player in Jim Cantore. This is a very strong jungler just in general, one of the more OP junglers in this patch. And the Lulu Samira coming out as well, just some very strong bans so far.
Yeah, and then it is going to be the Jarvan first pick. I really like first picking characters like Jarvan. It's pretty safe into most things. It can function in different ways. It's early aggressive, but still scales into late game. So definitely Bison's leaving a lot on the board with that early pick.
Yeah, it's the current ganking jungler trifecta, right? Jarvan, Xin Zhao, and Lee Sin. Any of these picks being first picked is very good for your team. And Super Copium coming back with the Trundle as their first pick of the game.
Yeah, okay. Trundle as well has been very popular. He has been played in several roles recently, but been a little bit flexed out of the support role after he did get nerfed. But still a very strong top laner and jungler in the right hands, as well as he's been being picked up in Korea mid lane for some cheese picks, similar to Tryndamere mid. But Tristana is going to be the second pickup for Super Copium.
Yeah, I like the Justana pick. Is a pretty safe lane. You can push waves very quickly and very aggressive bot lane there. The Trundle, uh, right now is being played with the Guardian's Hammer as the split push king. If he goes even or ahead in his lane, he's pretty much unstoppable in the side lane. You have to send two to take him out, and it creates a lot of pressure for your team as the Braum, I believe, is about to be locked in by the Bisons.
Yeah, and it was, Braum, a little bit more of a defensive champion, but yeah, there it is. It can be paired with that Lucian that can be so devastating in the bottom lane if they choose to put it there. Of course, though, Lucian can be flexed mid, so a really good first three picks from Bisons, only to be answered by Melphite by Super Copium.
Yeah, this Malphite is interesting. Now I'm beginning to think, well, if the Malphite is going top, where's the Trundle going? Could be flex support or mid lane, like you said. I'd be very surprised if it's the mid lane. This also could be a Malphite mid or support as well. Um, I love the Braum Lucian lane. This is a lane that I would run in solo queue, duoing all the time. What's great about it is Lucian's passive does proc Braum's passive twice, making that stun extra quick as we head into the second phase of bans.
Yeah, Braum Lucian, such a strong lane. And we see Super Copium banning away Vladimir and Silas. And it is Rakan, okay. My screen's not working, but we see Rakan is banned by Bisons, taking away that engaged support. They don't want that to have a threat. I, what do you think the last ban here is going to be for Bisons? What would you like to see?
Um, I'd like to see some mid lane bans as, yeah, the Seraphine is a strong pick. I believe they're taking away some of these picks that Super Copian's been comfortable engaging with. Seraphine is great with Malphite as you can follow up, right? Rakan's the same way. They have a lot of great follow up engaged. They want to get rid of those as quickly as possible. I like the bans from Super Copium, Vladimir and Salas, both very, very good scaling. And against a monster mid laner like kept for the other team, I'm just surprised they left Kassadin up, which is this guy kept is an insane Kassadin. He will carry a game 1v9 with that champion, and it's been banned every game throughout the tournament except for this one. So we'll see if he decides to pull it out.
Yeah, I've seen him play Kassadin before, and I somehow saw him go about 1-4 in lane into finishing the game like 12-5. So,
Yep.
definitely possible he can play Kassadin from any position. But it's going to be the Mordekaiser locked in top. Super Copium noticeably did keep the mid lane counter pick open, or what is likely the mid lane counter pick. So, Kept does not have the luxury of a counter pick. So, it's really just going to be on comfort for him here.
Yep. Normally, a blind picking the Kassadin is quite scary. There are some heavy counters against it. Looks like this might be a set mid.
Oh, baby, this is a spicy team from the Bisons. It could be set mid. We've seen Mordekaiser jungle a lot recently. It could be Mordekaiser mid. The mid, jungle, and top are all of them interchangeable. It can go in any combination, and no one knows which one is which.
This is some crazy flex picks by both teams, actually, because we don't know where the Karma is going or the Malphite. Orianna is a very safe pick in the mid lane, but the Bison seriously running the four melee with one range champion and Lucian. It is a death ball competition, and these guys are looking to dive into the backline of Super Copia, take them out. This is going to be a fun game to watch.
Yeah, you know what? This definitely is. This is going to be a spicy game no matter how it goes. We're just going to take a quick 3-minute competitive integrity break just so there's no foul play. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
All right, welcome back to the CECS, everybody. We're now heading into game one of our grand finals. So, what do you think? How's it going to go, Stefano?
Um, I don't know how it's going to end up. I know how we're going to get there, and how we're going to get there is going to be a bloodbath for sure. I think there's going to be a lot of early skirmishes and a lot of just absolute buffoonery out of the Bisons. I think they're going to play hyper aggressive and just do everything they can to get kills.
Yeah, I agree. So far in this tournament, they've been ahead pretty much in every single early game, making plays. The Jarvan is a perfect pick for this. You can do level 2 ganks, level 3 ganks, level 4 ganks. It's very, very flexible in your timings, very hard to predict if you are on the side of Super Copium. Um, we were talking about in the pregame lobby that after the draft, it is difficult, kind of theoretically, to play four melee champions into the team comp of Super Copium against the likes of Karma, Tristana, or Orianna, especially if the Malphite decides to peel instead of diving in. But we shall see how it goes. Looks like it's going to be a pretty default start. The Trundles are going to solo the red buff, while for the side of the Bisons, Jarvan is going to be starting on their red side.
Yep. Not a too unusual start from anyone. The Trundle starting top is a little bit strange, but what isn't strange about these teams so far? Besides the four melee, we also do have the little bit new of a tech of heal on the support and exhaust on the AD carry. What does that change allow them to do?
This is something that's become very popular during this world's meta. I can't tell you exactly why. All I know is that ADCs are very vulnerable in the mid game to how much damage there is in this game nowadays. And what I've seen AD carries do is take that exhaust to try and win these 1v1s in the mid game, especially against assassins. The exhaust is going to come very useful against things like the Set, the Mordekaiser, especially if you get ulted by him. I like it. The heal also allows Karma to bait out some more fights as well. This bot lane is going to be very spicy. I love the Lucian Braum. It looked like they go for the level 2.
Oh, the passive lands. Kingsland is forced to for 1 HP, and it is going to be taken down now. The concussive blows goes on to Breedable Rat, but nothing's going to happen. Zev saves the heal as well. Good discipline, but Kingsland was stunned and didn't get the heal off, giving up first blood to Lucian Braum.
Yep, he gets ignited by the Braum there, and that's exactly what Lucian Braum does. You land the Q and you land those auto attacks.
goes again, but now the junglers here as well. They go onto the Braum. Braum's going to be forced to flash away, and they're going to go in after him. Zev doing what he can, but what he can is not a lot. He's going to dash away again. Otto's going to come down. 1 HP left.
One more
Guido
auto.
Rat's going for it. He flashes for it. He goes down 1 for 1, and a very, very bloody early 3 minutes.
Some extreme action going on in the bot lane. Trundle coming in for the counter gank was huge there, blowing all the summoners on the side of the Bisons. And Tristana comes out even in that lane that was looking so bad for Super Copium in the early game.
Yep. Absolutely ideal, but now we have Tathalis going top, Tomato Tom going, flashing for the stun. Tathalis is going to flash as well, and that is going to be Reese's Pieces dying in between his Alice.
Yeah, and this is what the Bisons have been doing every game so far in this tournament. They dive that top lane. Getting Tomato Tom ahead has been a huge win condition for them, and that just looked too easy, forcing the flash and then following up with his own flash. Tomato Tom on this set is an absolute menace, as Trundle comes bot lane again.
Yeah, Jim is bot lane. The pillar's going to come out, but Zev is going to give a quick, relentless pursuit right over, not being put in any danger. Playing safe, but still, Jim Couture is going hard on this bot lane. He hasn't been to any other lane once so far, but a strong focus on shutting this Lucian Braum down early. But just as I say that, he walks mid. I don't think there should be anything of this. Unless Kept is looking for a fight, but no, he just walks away.
I like the pressure that he's causing on the bot side of the map here. It looks like they're going to go for a dragon-heavy lane. They're going to leave Reese's Pieces in the top lane just to farm. The Malphite is going to be useful no matter what. I like to put a little spotlight on Tomato Top in the top lane. He's been carrying this tournament. About 2 years ago in 2018, he was Clutch Gaming Academy's top laner. So he's an ex-pro. He's been working ever since, and he's hasn't played a lot of solo queue recently, but he has that experience in the top lane. Look for him to make some big plays for the rest of this game.
Yeah, especially now he's got a large lead. He's almost double the CS. He's 1 up. It looks like, I can't quite tell, but it looks like the lane is frozen topside as well. He's against a Malphite that isn't going to be doing anything versus him ever. Tomato Tom has every capability to destroy this game, just as much as the Lucian Braum that we keep talking about too.
Yeah, and this is something we talked about in the little break as well. Malphite, unfortunately, at any point in the game, does not do any damage to set. That's just the nature of the matchup. Malphite provides help in other ways, with especially his Unstoppable Force, his ultimate there. And looks like they're just going to try and farm it out for the meanwhile. What do you think about this mid lane matchup?
Mordekaiser versus Orianna definitely seems interesting. I'm really interested to see how it plays out, specifically when it comes to roaming and using these teleports. Both characters, despite the having teleports, usually are going to want to use their TPs to do different things. But here, Tathalis is in the top lane. Tomato Tom's just going to walk up and back away. But yeah, I'm really interested to see how they can use their teleports to gain advantage over each other. Whether for Orianna that means getting more CS, or for Mordekaiser, maybe he wants to get plates, or if he wants to go down bot lane and get some kills diving them under tower. Like Tathalis is diving Reese's Pieces now. Reese's Pieces, he's no flash, he's no ult, and Tomato Tom is going to take another one with the same play, rinse and repeat, just a minute or two later.
Yep, and that's very tough, right? The Jarvan is camping that top lane with Pink Wards and Vision, as Trundle is looking to gank bot lane again.
Yeah, Trundle's camping bot lane though. Concussive Blow is going to go on, and Tristana's just going to be blown up right away. Now the Trundle's going on to Lucian, but he's going to get knocked into the Death Realm. Concussive Blows goes on to Kingsland, but they fall off before they can get procced more. Damage is coming down. Ignite forces the flash away. He still has the heal available, as Orianna's roaming down from mid lane. The Q from Braum is going to miss, and Kingsland is going to get out with his life, but the rest of his team is going to fall for it.
Yep, great counter gank here as we watch the replay. Tristana jumps in a little bit too aggressively. One thing I'd like to mention is Kingsland has failed to heal his AD carry 2 fights in a row now. Unfortunately, maybe not used to having that summoner, but just a great counter TP by the side of the Bisons, picking up a couple kills and leaving Karma with 1 HP, blowing her flash. So far, a lot of these lanes winning, just like the other Bisons games. This is what they do. They get far ahead in the early game, and then they try and snowball the game out of control.
And that's exactly what they need to be doing here. For melee team comps, you need to be ahead. You need to be able to force these fights when you want to. And they're doing a masterful job right now. 4,000 gold ahead at 7 minutes. They're up 4 kills. Just a massive gold lead all around. No dragon so far yet, so they don't have the win condition that way, but it does look like Scoop City is going to be trying it for it now.
Yeah, Super Copium going getting that dragon there. This is a little bit of good counterplay while the side of the Bisons are resetting after getting all that gold. This match of the mid lane looking pretty tough for this Orianna now. I'm actually quite surprised. The Mordekaiser mid lane, not something we see a ton of, but it makes sense. It's difficult for the Orianna to poke out the Mordekaiser. He has so much sustain, so much shielding, and it looks like we have a little bit of a fight in the river here.
Dev just going in 2v1. The ult is going to come down. It's not going to find the kill, but some damage being traded back either way. Potions are ticking. There is Hayu coming down, and Breedable Rat's going to go in. The W is going to land. Unfortunately, my screen is frozen, but oh, Breedable Rat's not going to go down. Kingsland now. The heal comes out late. He's flashing away. Zev is flashing after him. 1 HP. Q is going to land right as the shield expires. Well timed, and that's another kill for the bot lane of Bisons.
Yeah, Tristana going in again a little bit too aggressive. Unfortunately, Lucian had both his summoners. He was just baiting there, waiting for his support to come back him up. And that's what Braum does, right? He jumps on you, shields, and you can't damage the AD carry. Pretty good play by the Bisons there, baiting in the Tristana as Trundle helps Tristana get some of the CS on the tower. Or maybe they're going for more.
Oriana's coming as well, but it feels like Bisons are saying, how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? As they're beating down on the Trundle again, the ulti's going to come out. The TP is going to get cancelled, and the shockwave is huge, taking down the Lucian, and Braum's got nowhere to run. He's going to be taken down. He flashes out, but it's going to be to nowhere, and that's a huge 2 kills by the side of Super Copium.
Yep, Omnify coming in with the Orianna. Huge shockwave getting both Lucian and Braum. Nice little bait here. Beautiful TP. And looks like, I guess one of the TPs got canceled. Somebody canceled Tomato Tom's TP.
It looks like Reese's Pieces flash ultied him or ultied him then flashed out. But either case, Reese's Pieces, good play. He didn't end up dying there. And if Tomato Tom had gone that TP off, that would have gone a very different way.
Yep, and I like this play here in the mid lane. Looks like they might drop the River Hill, collect some plates as Reese's Pieces TPs to the mid lane. Doesn't have an ultimate though, so not much he can do, unfortunately. And yeah, so far the game kind of stabilizing a little bit after Super Copium came down in the early game a little bit, but they've made some plays and
fire a little bit, but not going to get engaged on.
yeah, and what you notice here is that this is what the Bisons do, right? Every single lane is pushed in. There's so much pressure. It's makes it so difficult for Jim Cantor on the Trundle.
Breedable Rat going in onto Zev. Fancies the 1v1, and he's going to get it because of the exhaust and the super buster shot. Breedable Rat with a nice 1v1 kill. The help from the jungler really coming in clutch there.
Yeah, and beautiful play by Tristana, right? And Breedable Rat, he used every ability to its maximum potential. You get the double W reset by stacking up the E-bomb all the way, and he finishes him off with the ultimate and the exhaust. That's why you take the exhaust on AD carry, boys. You get that 1v1 potential.
Yeah, showing off the interesting tech there. For sure. The kill as well, not insignificant. As a result, Zev is going to lose a good portion of this wave, or he would have, but it actually looks like Braum was capturing it for him. But we got to talk about Tomato Tom being ganked here in the top lane, so confident, just stealing away the jungler's things, does not give a heck in the world, knows he can't be 2v1, but 3v1 is possible, as Malphite goes in with the Unstoppable Force. Orion is in the wall. The ultimate from set is going to come out, and the damage is huge into the Haymaker, kills the Trundle. Now he's just going on to Reese's Pieces. The Orianna is going to take the Blast Cone over the wall. They're in the bushes. Shockwave is going to come out, but he's still so tanky.
Haymaker's coming up.
1 punch, 2 punch. Oh, the head smash for the double stun, but he doesn't get the last auto. And it is going to be the 3v1 just barely from the side of Super Copium.
So close. Tom winning that 3v1. He had the flash available. He might have been able to flash over the Orianna Q, but they managed to kill him just in time. That was scary.
Oh, as they go aggressive onto Super Copium, but Zev is going to have to flash out. But now Taythals is here. The J4 ult is huge, but the Trundle is going to be able to trade back the kill on Zev. He's going to be running away. The concussive blows are going to land, and this Trundle is almost for sure dead as Kep shows up, gets the other kill, and then ended up being 2 for 1 for the Bisons again.
Yeah, the Bison just consistently taking every single fight they see. Interesting what happened there. Zev didn't manage to get the heal off because he didn't expect Trundle Q to do so much damage. The reason why it does so much damage is he has a Trinity Force at 13 minutes of the game. That's an interesting item, but it does make your Q do a huge amount of damage as Jarvan goes in the mid lane.
Oh, speaking of huge damage, kept onto the Orianna is going to do a lot, but even take more back. Well played by Yilmo to get out of there so easily. He has the phase rush, getting that kill onto Taythals.
Yeah, Omnify playing that beautifully, using the flash to get away from the Jarvan EQ and then finishing him off around the Braum shield. Very, very well played. This Orianna looking to become quite strong in this mid game against all these melee carries.
Yeah, and we see now Reese's Pieces on the side in a pink ward. He has his ult available. He is looking for anything. We see now Super Copium going for the Dragon. They are going to get it secure, but it looks like the Bisons are looking for a fight. Haymaker's going to come out, not hit much, and Tomato Tom's going to be taken out right at the beginning. So much of the Bison's gold, and the rest of them are going to surely fall. Kept is in the Death Realm now, facing Reese's Pieces, but he's not long for. He is going to take the one kill, then be taken down right away. It's a 4 for 1 and the Dragon for Super Copium. That's huge.
Amazing fight by Super Copium, using all their abilities perfectly, taking the dragon and finishing off their kill. Jarvan was not there yet. The Bison's feeling a little bit overconfident, going in 4v5, and they finish them off. We're starting to see exactly how Super Copium's team comp works, right? You stack the Malphite ultimate with the Orianna ultimate, and then you have all these ranged carries. It's difficult to chase them down as the characters of the Bisons. You saw the set stuck in the middle of the pit, unable to auto attack or get the Haymaker off. I don't know, if I'm the Bisons, I'm starting to get a little bit worried here.
Yeah, they still do have a 3k gold lead, but not as much as it was just a second ago. As well, Super Copium was able to take down the mid lane turret, so that was a bunch of extra gold in their pocket for them. So Super Copium just once again getting a huge swing back into this game with that play.
Yeah, and an interesting thing to note is as the Bisons do have a 3k gold lead, but that's almost exclusively in the top lane. Tomato Tom has an almost 100 CS lead above Reese's Pieces here as they look to gang up on this Mordekaiser.
Thalos are here. He's gonna go in, but Jim Contour is just gonna get smacked up, and Reese's Pieces gonna have to flash out after the Q flash from Kept. A 2v1 play, just because a lot of the gold is on Tomato Tom, does not make Kept on this Mordekaiser any weaker. 4-1, Riftmaker online. He's got the pen boots as well. In base, he's gonna have probably his next item. He is definitely gonna be something we have to look out for the rest of the game.
Yeah, he's putting out tons of damage along with the Jarvan complete his Gore Drinker. This is where these melee carries become untouchable, right? If you get anywhere close to them, they are going to kill you almost instantly. And looks like Super Copium still have a little bit of uphill battle on their hands, but they need to find those amazing fights that they have in this game already. Play around that Orianna, who is very ahead right now, and see what they can do.
Yeah, Vision is a huge name of the game for Super Copium. They have to make sure that they're able to take these fights how they want to take them. If they get caught out of position, if the Bisons are able to do what they want, to get that set out, to get that J4 into the backline of Super Copium, the game is over just right in that moment. So Super Copium has to be so careful on how they play their Vision, how they set up for these team fights, and for now, that kind of just means A-ramming it mid.
Yep, and we see that for this game it is going to be the Cloud Soul, which is, I believe, pretty good on either team. I don't see a huge advantage for one side or the other. I do like having the Cloud Soul on Trundle, as when you ultimate, it does give you a burst of speed to catch up to people along with the Lucian, but I don't see a great advantage for either team for the Soul. But this next dragon fight's going to be huge as we see Mordekaiser.
Up in the bush, just gonna insta-death realm him. Kingsland is on the outside. Buster Shot's gonna come out, knock him back, but the camera's more interested in Jim in the mid lane who gets taken down. Now Kept is 3v1, he gets exhausted, he's gonna do his best. He's healing and shielding, doing lots of damage, but it's not enough. But there's 3 people mid lane for the Bisons. Rift Herald is gonna drop, and Reese's Pieces can't hold this by himself.
Yeah, it's technically a 1-for-1, but the Bison's huge advantage. They were mid lane already pushing at the time, while Super Copium have to use both summoners on Tristana just to kill the Mordekaiser 3v1. It looks like they're going to get the inhibitor tower as well. Big play by the Bison, some nice macro there, sacrificing the Mordekaiser 3v1 to get that push in the mid lane.
Yeah, so smart there as well. They don't end up taking the inhibitor while there's no objective up, so you don't get a bunch of resources going in to Super Copium there. Very well executed play, and now they're just filling it with jungle, or filling the jungle with wards, excuse me, kiting back to Dragon as Reese's Pieces thinks he sees an opportunity, goes in on Zev. Unstoppable Force comes out. Zev is going to be kiting away the best he can. He is going to be able to get away, but now it's Breedable Rat going in. Not going to get there in time as the Braum does get the back off. It's very close by the Bisons, but now we got 10 seconds till Dragon Spawn.
I mean, that's a great example of ADCs in 2021, right? Lucian has 2.5 items against a 0-item Malphite level 10, and he doesn't do any damage to him. That's kind of the nature of Malphite against AD carries, as it looks like it's going to be a little bit of a dragon fight here.
Yeah, but Tathalos is going in a huge 2-man EQ into the lockdown. He is going to be able to steal the dragon away. Jim trying his best to take it, but not able to steal it away back. But Zev going to do a huge amount of damage to the Karma, but not going to be able to finish it off. That is a huge for Bison. So stopping that that Dragon Soul point, making sure Super Copium doesn't have the win condition of getting that Drag Soul. That's a vital win for the side of the Bisons.
Yeah, and this has been a common trend for the Bison games, right? They get super far ahead, they kind of throw their lead a little bit, and then they just make clutch play after clutch play. If they had lost that dragon, you're right, it would have been soul point. Makes it a little bit more risky to play the game after that. But they get the dragon steal. Tathalos carrying that fight, landing the double EQ knockup into the ultimate Cataclysm. And they get the dragon and they get away with it.
Yeah, and now Baron looks to be the setup. The wards are coming down, the pings as well, and everyone's looking for. We have Reese's Pieces in the bottom lane. He does have the TP available, but and it looks like Kept is going to be meeting him in the bottom lane. But in the meantime, Bisons are just going to start it up, and Super Copium has no idea.
Yeah, no vision here, and even if they did have vision, it'd be very difficult to contest this. They're just so far behind now. Don't let the score fool you. If you look at the items on the side of the Bisons, they've all reached their power spikes. Mordekaiser's hit 2 items with the Rylai's. Lucian's at fully 2.5 with the BF Sword coming in on top of the Kraken Slayer and the Essence Reaver. They're so strong, and it looks like they're still going for the fight anyways.
Oh, the Cap just drops the Death Worm, and the Orianna forced to use the Shockwave on just one person, but it's not going to matter. He gets out of the Death Realm, and he just gets instant concussived and taken down. Now it's Kept walking aggressively. They have Baron, and they're looking for inhib. Hook goes down onto Reese's Pieces. Ult comes out from Braum, but not going to land on anything, so it does look like they're just going to take their time with the inhib.
Yeah, and this is the Bison's team comp coming together, right? They have 2 raid bosses in Mordekaiser and Set. They're untouchable, and they just use them to walk up and get room for Lucian to make do as much damage as they can.
Yeah, and 2 quick inhibs as well as the Baron and the kill for nothing. They are going to be going aggressive on Tomato Tom. Reese's Pieces is going to drop the Unstoppable Force. That's a huge Haymaker shield from Tom mixed with a Locket, but it's still Super Copium going aggressive. Bison's just doing their best to walk out, and they are going to be able to. They're all melee, so they can't hit back as they run away, but they do have Bomb going to be doing his best to slow them down. Yeah, Super Copium not going to chase this one any further. That is going to be 2 inhibs. That is going to be the Baron, as well as a kill for the Bisons.
Yep, and the Bison's looking very, very far ahead at this point. But if you're on the side of Super Copium, the game plan is simple, right? You get your Orianna and Tristana to farm these super minions and reach that ultra late game where they become absolute monsters against this melee comp. especially Tristana. You won't be able to touch her with Jarvan and set. He should be able to carry the game by himself if he's able to get that point. But I mean, they've done a good job, right? They got the first two early dragons, so Dragon Soul Point doesn't come up for a long time for the Bisons. So they can try and stall the game, but this is dangerous here.
Super Copium doing the wolves right under the noses of the Bisons, but Bison's not going to go and spring that trap just yet. They're going to instead make the slower play. You know, you got both lanes crashing. You can just slowly push this one out with Baron. There's no need to risk engage. But as I say that, Teyfalis drops the swag flag. Not going to go in just yet, but yeah, just slow and steady for the side of the Bisons.
Yeah, look for Teyfalis to use that flag and drag to engage on this tower. I'm pretty sure they're perfectly happy with diving, and look at Mordekaiser
Goes
go.
onto Orianna. Command Shockwaves hits nothing in the Death Realm. Now Teyfalis is in, and Super Copium has nowhere to go. They're going to get taken down, but Tomato Tom's on the Nexus. Even if they don't fall there, they're just backing up, but there's Tomato Tom hitting it with the 1-2 Haymaker. He's going to flash onto them. Facebreaker going to come out, going to stun no one. Haymaker followed after, just doing damage. Kept is not there. He does have, or does not have his TP either, but it doesn't matter. Tomato Tom's going to land another huge Facebreaker, and they're going to take the first game.
Yeah, first game goes to the Bisons here. Tomato Tom just flexing on them at the end of the game there, going straight for the Nexus while they desperately try and defend their last inhibitor. Great first win for the Bisons, showing off a lot of their strengths as a team.
Yeah, that was nothing short of dominance, and you know what? It didn't even look like it was too hard for the Bisons. They just ran over. It looked like every other game, you know, it was just another Sunday for them. They kept going. They were unrelenting. You know, they made one or two misplays, but it didn't really matter. They were just so on top of their rotations. They were always in the right spot. They were always where they needed to be, and they were always using their abilities correctly.
Yeah, and yeah, you just saw the kind of power they have in the mid lane and the top lane, right? These guys are absolute raid bosses in the mid game. Once they get tanky enough and get their items, they just do so much damage. You saw Mordekaiser uh, put Orianna Death Realm 2 fights in a row, and there's nothing Orianna can do. She can Zhonya's to try and stall the game out, but she's just gonna die once she comes out at Zhonya's. Pretty frustrating game. If you're on the side of Super Copium, but I can't say that they didn't put up a fight. Right? They had some great mid game team fights. They had a huge dragon fight in the mid game. They made it a challenge in this game against the higher ranked team in the Bisons, and overall, pretty solid game. Pretty solid game one. Both teams have a little bit to improve for the next game. What can you tell me about what some of those improvements could be?
You know, from the side of Super Copium, I think they need to do a better. They need to try and establish control a little bit better than they did. I think that pretty consistently, it was hard to stop because they were so far behind, but very, very consistently, the Bisons were able to get this vision control and really just play around inside the enemy jungle, and that's where we saw a lot of their leads grow.
Yeah, I completely agree. And just to follow up there, who do you think our no frills player of the game was for that game?
I'm gonna say our no frills player of the game was pretty easily Tomato Tom, but honestly, I don't want to discredit Taythalis. He was also really good, but Tomato Tom was just on a whole other level that game.
Yep, I have to agree. Tomato Tom pulling out the 1v3s, setting up the dive top lane. And this is what we talked about all tournament with the Bisons, right? It's a pretty cut and dry strategy, but it works. Tomato Tom pushes the lane early game, stacks the wave, and sets up the dive for Jarvan. There's almost nothing you can do if you're Malphite during that dive. There's too many minions hitting your tower. And this is how they've been getting these leads early game, and it just works. I'd have to say Tomato Tom is the no frills player of the game for last game, but like you said, Tayfralis was everywhere this game, ganking all 3 lanes. Pretty good team effort by the Bisons for game one.
Yeah, absolutely it was, and I think that's just it. We're gonna take a quick small break where we get set up for game two. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
And welcome back to our second game of this final. My name is Natural. I was missing. I went missing for the first game. I watched a movie actually. I watched Spider-Man: Homecoming. Banger movie. Anyways, yeah, we're back here for the second game. I did spectate the second latter part of the first game, but can you give me a little bit of a recap? Something. What happened? What happened there?
Yeah, so we saw what's typical of the Bisons all throughout this preseason tournament. They come out really far ahead, all three lanes winning, setting up their jungler for success. They kind of throw the mid game a little bit, getting their dragon stolen and losing some big team fights. And then they reach their item power spikes, and then they just go ham, sending in mostly Tomato Tom and kept their mid lane and top laner as their raid bosses, taking over the game, slowly picking off one inhibitor after another, and closing out the game quite cleanly after kind of a messy early mid game.
Hold on. I'm just trying to figure out some drafting issues here, so you can go ahead and install for me.
Yeah, no worries. Honestly, I'm kind of expecting some of the power picks from last game banned this game. If I would not be surprised if they banned that set. He's just been a monster for Tomato Tom all tournament. In fact, because the top lane difference is a little bit big throughout the tournament, especially with Tomato Tom coming out as a clutch used to an ex-Clutch Gaming Academy player, I would try and ban him out as best I can. It's tough because he does have a pretty big champion pool, but you just don't want to see him on that set anymore. It's just too easy to set up that dive, and yeah, and when he gets ahead, it's really, really hard to play against. But I honestly liked the team comp coming out from Super Copium in that game. It made sense. The Oriana Tristana Karma backline was working quite well. They just need to try and not fall so far behind in that early game. And they've been having to come up with these miracle team fights in the mid game versus if they just went a little bit more even, they would be able to come pretty safe. As the draft seems like it's working now, and the Cannon ban comes out for Super Copium.
Wonderful. Thank you for stalling in such an absolutely beautiful manner, my friend. Also gonna thank Stefano. He took over from me there in that game one. But regardless of that, let's just jump right into it. We have Kennen, Ivern being banned. Those are all target. Kennen was actually played last game, correct?
Cannon wasn't played, it was also
Oh,
banned.
my bad.
But it is a target, you were right. It is the target ban against Tomato Tom. As is the Ivern against, I believe, Jim Cantore. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And the Lulu and Zinzao just power picks. The bans are looking actually exactly the same as last game. Pretty much. Yeah, Samir is the same. I guess Super Copium believe it wasn't the set that was the problem. It was just the way they played. This is very common in terms of banning phase for teams. You have to make that decision, right? Did we just play bad, or was the draft bad? What do you think about that, Natural?
Well, I wouldn't know for sure because I didn't see the whole thing. But I will tell you this: I personally like it when people run back their drafts because it's just a sign of confidence. They know that
Yeah.
they can win the game. It's not a problem of their draft or their game plan or whatnot. They already strategize. They know what their strategy is and they're confident in it. The only thing is maybe something unlucky happened. Maybe
Yeah.
their hands weren't warm enough. A ping spike there or
Yeah.
here. But regardless of that, it's going to be the set first pick that we've seen already like a few times now actually in this tournament on the side of Super Copium.
And now their banning phase makes sense, right? They left the set up so they could first pick it. I forgot that they are on blue side. Smart by them. The Bisons banned the Sejuani, which is interesting. It almost looks like a misclick. Like they're trying to ban Set, but they banned Sejuani because I don't really understand the Sejuani ban. I haven't seen it banned all tournament or picked all tournament. So interesting. But here comes the Volibear that looks like a counter pick against the set.
We're getting the Electric Bear. Volibear, pretty strong pick in top lane still. I mean, he has kind of fallen out of flavor, I'll say, in the last few patches, but he used to be such a prominent pick in the top lane. Very good for his, dive setup at level 6, as you'll know with that. Basically, the Omebreaker, was it? The item. He basically just got that slapped onto his ultimate. Super good diving champion. Very good early game as well. Pops pretty hard in mid game as soon as he gets one item, and then he kind of just falls off. But regardless of that, we're going to have the Thresh in the bot lane, and on Team Super Copium, we're getting the bot lane dominance duo, Lucian Braum.
That's so hilarious. They're just picking the same champions that the Bison played last game. I don't know what this is about, but yeah, they took away the Lucian Braum that the Bisons used so well last game to grab that early game lead. This is so interesting, Natural. It looks like they're just stealing their champions.
You know what? They just saw their game plan. They were like, you know what? I like your game plan.
Yeah,
And they just take it for themselves. Why not?
that's awesome. Thresh Jinx, another very strong bot lane. In fact, if I were to say, I would actually take the Thresh Jinx matchup just because of the range advantage. Thresh Jinx has
Really?
always been very, very strong. I mean, it depends, right? It really all comes down to how well the Thresh can play. If you can play that Braum away, dodge that Braum Q, and play around that Braum shield, Thresh Jinx should win out on trades. But again, Lucian Braum also very, very strong. You can, I mean, it's a classic duo. You stack up those concussive blows. I believe that's what it's called. I'm not sure.
Yep. Passive,
Um,
the Braum passive.
yeah.
I believe that is concussive blows. And on the side of Bisons here, we're seeing some mid lane focus with that Akali ban. Of course, Omnify that we saw yesterday absolutely popping off. The guy is an absolute monster on Akali. Don't want to see that champion ever, as the Aurelia ban is going to come in from Super Copium. I assume that is for uh, uh, Punya? I'm not sure how to pronounce neither of those player names, but regardless, yeah, for the mid lane of Bisons and the last ban here going to be the Syndra. So yeah, mid lane focus from both sides.
Yeah, that's I think Quinn, I guess, on the side of Bisons.
Yep.
But yeah, I like these bands. The Casson band coming through against, I believe, is it Kept? Yes, Kept is the Casson main. I was surprised last game they left it open, but Kept didn't pick it. He went for the Mordekaiser mid, which popped off as well. We'll see what the last two picks here are for Super Copium along with Bisons.
So we've got the jungle and the mid lane. This is the 2v2 that we're going to be waiting for. The LeBlanc for the Bisons. Interesting pick. I like it. It offers a lot of versatility. Some usually LeBlanc is picked as an answer to mid lane melee carries like the Silas, and you can kind of just poke them out and bully them in the laning phase. But it's going to be blind picked here. Not too bad. Usually some counter picks include the Lissandra. We'll have to see if the Super Copium actually goes for the counter pick. And it's going to be the Twisted Fate, it looks like, from Super Copium.
Yeah, I like both. This is a straight skill matchup, in my opinion. Some people say LeBlanc is a little bit favored. I'm a huge LeBlanc fan. I think the mobility, a well-played LeBlanc can single-handedly carry a game. She has so much burst, and the new LeBlanc build is the Super CDR build, where you're just jumping around and doing 800 damage every 10 seconds or so to everybody that you touch. Twisted Fate, good answer. It picks up on the
Oh,
roaming LeBlanc. Oh, and the Zac.
okay. I actually really like the Zac. I think Zac is pretty much a very similar champion to Sejuani, except he's just flat out better.
Yep.
um, so yeah, I actually really like the Zac adaptation here. The Sejuani was banned. So basically they're going for the alternate Sejuani pick here, and the Bisons are going to round out their composition with the Jax.
Yeah, that pushes Volibear, I believe, to the jungle. Jax, pretty solid pick against the set. Can stand up to him in that 1v1 due to dodging out set's double auto attack. I really like both team comps here. I can't really tell exactly who I would give the edge to. Super Copium, the damage looks a little bit low with that TF in the mid lane. Usually you run some more damage in the jungle when you run that Twisted Fate, because Twisted Fate becomes the setup to your jungle carry versus vice versa. But Zac, very strong this patch as well. I really like it. It can dive onto that Jinx, which does not have any dashes. I'm excited for this game.
Yeah, I'm very excited as well. So let's get a bit of a rundown here from the two team compositions. What do we think some of these game plans ought to be from Super Copium and Bisons? What do you think?
Yeah, Super Copium. It's funny. They actually did pretty much copy Bison's team comp from last game. The only slight difference is instead of the Mordekaiser, they run Twisted Fate, which I personally think is actually an improvement. Twisted Fate provides that ranged CC targeted for that Lucian to free hit on, along with the Braum. They have a lot of good CC setup. Set Zac is a disgusting combination in terms of knockups. I'm looking forward to it. And from the Bison side, it's really just going to be Thresh saving everybody with his Lantern. I'm hoping he goes the Lantern max build because he can save the Jinx from any situation along with LeBlanc Jax running amok.
Yep. Now it looks to me like Super Copium has a very strong bottom early with Lucian Braum, of course. You know that's a pretty dominating lane, especially into the Jinx. That takes a bit more time to ramp up. And with the TF and the Zac and the set, that is a lot of really good dive potential. So I'm thinking Super Copium is looking to get some prio in the bot side, secure some early dragons, and set up for some dives, especially somewhere either in bot or top with that set, Twisted Fate, Zac. I mean, it's absolutely such a devastating combo if you're not prepared for it. And on the side of the Bisons, I feel like it's more of an evasive draft where you're looking for some pretty mobile champions like the Blanc, the Jax, the Threshes there as well to save some of your carries. And then you look for some late game scaling with the Jinx and the Jax.
Yep, I completely agree with you. I believe bot lane is very hard to play against Zac. He can gank you from so many different angles. I agree with you. Look to see a lot of action in this bot lane as we head into our competitive integrity break. Please don't go away. Game 2 starts in just a moment.
Anyways, welcome back to our second game here. Super Copium on the blue sides, the Bisons on the red side. With these two compositions that we already talked about a little bit. Now let's see if we have any level 1 shenanigans. You do have the Thresh on the red side. You do have the Braum, even stronger level 1 on the blue side. So let's see if they go for any kind of invade.
Yep, I want to see Super Copium try and get this early advantage. They can't fall behind like they have in the previous game. I want them to pull out some cheese with this Braum and Lucian, get some early stuns out, see what they can do. And it looks like they're doing just that.
Oh yeah, they're sneaking into this bush. Well, there's a Thresh guarding the way here. And it looks like TF is just kind of playing the role of a guard. Keeping people away, trying to bait a normal 5-pointer, but it's not happening. Okay, here comes the Braum. We're waiting for that Q. Oh, they actually slipped right out of vision, I think.
Just missed him. Thresh playing that wall very well. If they had seen it, that might have been at least a flash blown. But that's Win playing that wall very, very well. That's why you run default setups with everybody in each entrance to the jungle. Very well played. Some interesting summoners and rune choices on the side of Super Copium. They have TF running the summoner spellbook. What do you think about that?
I like it. I personally really like Spellbook. I think it's a pretty underrated mastery choice or rune choice. How are they called again? I don't even remember.
Yeah.
I'm such a boomer that I still remember when those were two separate things. But anyways, yeah, I think it's really good. It scales very well into the late game because you can pick summoner spells that are really strong in the later parts of the game, like the Ghost, like the Teleport. In the meantime, you can just hold on to your summoners. And if your flash is down, just take a barrier, just take an exhaust, whatever you want. Yeah, I personally really like it. I think it scales extremely well on champions that don't really need any other mastery. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I also really like it. Twisted Fate doesn't really synergize with a lot of the new runes, as we see some trading in the top lane. And yeah, but he does do very well with a lot of different summoners. Ghost is super strong, Exhaust is super strong on Twisted Fate.
Ooh, okay. Reese's Piece is going to have to blow his flash early because Tomato Tom hitting that level 2 earlier. And with the stun coming in there, he was feeling a little threatened, going to have to blow his flash early. We'll have to see if any jungle intervention comes to fruition because of that flash.
Yep, Tomato Tom did kind of go off on that set in the previous game. And now Reese's Piece decides, I'm going to first pick set away from you. And turns out Tomato Tom has a perfect counter pick for that situation as well. So this is going to be a little bit tough, but look for Reese's Pieces to just look to go even in this game. They don't want to fall behind like they did last game. Now look at what Volibear and Jax are doing in Super Copium's jungle.
Yep, look at that top side over there. It looks like Volibear is invading the wolves for now. Zac, he knows that he's there. He's going to go for the E. Okay, he finds the smite as well. But this is a fight that he doesn't want to take because the Jax is on his way. Jim, he has the passive. He's going to flash away from the Thunder. And now it looks like it's going to be a disengage. But now with this control, it looks like top Phaelus will be able to take control of that top jungle and steal away some farm.
Yeah, unfortunately, Zac had to go for that fight as Volibear actually went for the classic 3-camp. He goes from starts on bot side, then crosses right over to the other side, basically blocking out Zac from collecting any more camps. So basically permanently for the rest of the game, Volibear will be up at least 3 camps on the Zac. Not much you can do though. I actually would have liked Zac to go down bot lane instead of trying to fight Volibear in his own jungle, but it looks like he might be doing that now anyways.
Yep. Maybe help break that freeze. That should be a pretty decent idea here. You really want to help out your bot lanes when they get frozen on. As here comes the ganks. We got a bit of a freeze, but that's okay because the freeze is about to be broken,
Nice.
or will it? The first blood coming in from the Lucian. And now this Thresh is not going to be alive in this world for long. The blobs are going to be procced. But I believe that... Oh, that's a good question, actually. Is his last blob out of range of that turret? Okay, bro, I'm actually going to tank the turret just so that the blob will be able to survive. And that's a clean gank coming in from Super Copium.
Super well played. I love that setup with the Zac and the Braum. King of the Land tanking that tower to save Zac's life. Really well played. Lucian flashes to get the last stack of concussive blows on the Thresh to pick up both kills. Very nice. Putting the Lucian Braum ahead. This is similar to what the Bisons did to Super Copium last game, and now they're getting it done right back to him.
Yep. And I apologize, I got that jungler mistaken. I thought that Zac was coming to break the freeze, but no. He's here to profit off of the freeze to get some big money off of that freeze and give his AD carry 2 kills. As you can see there, the gold advantage, 700 gold in the favor of Laquithius right now. He has 2 long swords advantage, at least in items. But meanwhile, actually, during that play in the top lane, we had a gank that was also successful. As we were talking about that flash being down, it looks like Top Phalis and Tomato Tom managed to pull off a gank, and that's 1 kill on Top Phalis.
Yeah, I would love to see the replay on that, but if not, that's okay as well. It looks like they might have dove him under his tower, which is what's been happening to Reese's Pieces all tournament, unfortunately, against this jungle top duo. Tate Dallas and Tomato Tom, they have been showing great synergy throughout the series, and looks like they keep it going with another kill top lane.
Yep, and now with this wave being pushed under the side of Super Copium, it looks like Zac is looking for another opportunity to gank. The E is thrown the Flay, trying to cancel that. The Lantern is good as well. That sentence connects right into the Chompers. But yeah, the Bison's just going to walk out of that one. Very good counterplay there from Hyun the Thresh.
Yep, I like that. That's what Thresh is there for, saving that Jinx when she gets caught in an uncomfortable situation. And one thing that we failed to point out during that bot lane gank earlier is a lot of what happens is those guys were dead anyways. Now, if they've blown their summoners, they might have been a small chance to survive, but they save them and just sacrifice. And now they're even safer, right? They have all their summoners still up, and this is a common mistake people make in that lower elo for the bot lane. Save your summoners, guys. Save them for when you really need them. And exactly there, they get away without blowing anything. And it looks like there's going to be
and in the mid lane here, there's going to be a gank, a teleport coming in from Reese's Pieces as well. And with that defensive teleport, it looks like they're going to run away. Reese's Pieces not no ultimate available quite yet. He's going to use the Haymaker, but LeBlanc comfortably out of that position. Okay, the concussive blows is going to be stacked, going to be procced, but there's not enough damage. And that is a defensive teleport well used from the side of Super Copium.
Yeah. To prevent the Volibear gank from pulling off anything. Looks like
Hey,
they're still going.
Out. You're gonna have to blow his flash to avoid just that extra little bit of damage that could have potentially put him in lethal range there. Another teleport being used by LeBlanc.
Yep, I love this by Super Copium. They have an advantage in the bot lane. They're using it to affect the mid lane by forcing that Volibear flash, and now they get this free dragon, playing their strong lane very well here.
Yeah, absolutely. They're using this priority that they have, this very good dive potential that they have to gain control over the bot side of the jungle. And now a first dragon. The second dragon will be an Infernal, so that means that we have either a Cloud Soul or an Ocean Soul. And yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty clear which one is the better one here. Actually, I think the Cloud Soul would be pretty good as well. We have a TF who would love to have his ultimate on a lower cooldown, as well as a Set, Lucian, and Braum, who can all potentially run a bit faster. That's pretty good buff.
Yeah, I actually really like Cloud Soul on Lucian. Getting that ultimate cooldown down, along with when you pop the ultimate, you get that burst of movement speed, and you get to catch up to these to the enemies flashing away usually from that Lucian ultimate. It's quite nice. Ocean Soul obviously is pretty good on Zac and Set, as well as the Braum.
Okay, and we have here in the top lane, the Haymaker does a decent amount of damage, but not quite as much as I expected it to. Reese's Piece is going to be taken down very low by Tomato Tom. Looks like Tomato Tom, with that slight Atom advantage, is going to be able to get control over that top lane again.
Yep, Tomato Tom putting on a clinic in the top lane. However, you have to mention that they are kind of leaving Reese's Pieces on an island there. They're looking to get that advantage bot lane. Zac has spent the entire game in that bot side, collecting dragons. So not so much to be said for that top lane matchup. Unfortunately, Tomato Tom just kind of dominating again.
Yep, Tomato Tom doing Lore's work up in here the top lane with his Jax pick. Not something that I expected. I did see him playing more cards the last game, but it looks like Tomato Tom really enjoys those raid boss type of champions. And he is absolutely making wonderful use of them here. With just that one gank, really put him super far ahead. And that's just kind of how top lane goes, right? Once you're ahead, you just kind of keep steamrolling the lane. Lane is so long, and there are so many little things that can play into your advantage. So now the matchup is kind of completely over for the rest of the game here in the top lane as, ooh, fancy footwork there from the TF. And I'm still waiting for that Destiny's Gate.
Yep, I would look to see him use that, I believe, in the bot lane. I want them to keep pushing this advantage. We're talking about strong side and weak side. Clearly, the weak side is top lane for Super Copium right now. So stay on that strong side. Keep getting your Lucian Brahma ahead. Jax in the mid game will be very strong, but as long as that bot lane is far ahead enough, it should be okay. This is them trying to follow their own win condition by following through with the bot lane.
Absolutely. And you can see there, Super Copium were already kind of considering the dive bot lane. Both Zach and TF were slightly moving towards the bottom side of the map. It looks like we have a bit of a DC here. We'll have a little bit of a pause. We apologize. Most likely just a bit of network connection issues here. It's all chill. We can talk about the game state. It's no problem. Looking at the gold state right now, Super Copium just 300 gold ahead, which is essentially just that one kill. But we can mention the fact that there is some slight CS discrepancies, especially in the top lane. Tomato Tom, as we said, putting on a bit of a clinic here in the top lane.
Yep, Tomato Tom has been had a CS lead all game 1 and now game 2. It's kind of expected. The ganks have been going to that lane. They've kind of done a split map here where Volibear and Jax dive the set top lane, but in exchange, Zac, TF, Lucian, and Braum have been running amok in the bot side of the map, picking up the first dragon. This is how many games go, especially when you run this split map.
Absolutely. Now, with this split map, the question is, usually when you have the bot side, strong side, usually you will be able to pick up some of these dragons, and that's already been happening. We see a one mountain drake ready, and then the fire drake next, the infernal drake. Now, my question is, do you think the soul is enough for Super Copium to overcome some of the scaling discrepancies here? As my stream has kind of died.
Yeah, mine as well. But I can still answer this question. It depends what Drake, right? The Ocean Soul scale is a little bit better sometimes, but with the Cloud Soul could be interesting as well. I'm not sure. I think if Jinx ever gets to 6 items, this game might just be over. But I like to also point out that a little adaptation by Super Copium, right? They've been diving Reese's Pieces under his tower all throughout game 1 and in the preseason group stage as well. But Set is a very difficult champion to dive, or as I say that, he's getting dove anyways.
Wow, that face breaker was missed, and I honestly think Tomato Tom could have went for the flash there. Though I do believe the W is still up. I'm not sure Reese's Pieces had the timing to actually activate that one. As yeah, here we go. In the top side, strong side, you see the LeBlanc, you see the Volibear on that mini map, using that priority that they have to get control and to potentially get this Rift Herald.
Yep, and the Bisons showing off their experience here, right? They Tomato Tom not over chasing. He kind of had, I guess, a sixth sense that Zac was waiting in the wings, so he didn't go for that full dive, but did chunk him hard enough to get that push in. LeBlanc walking up as well, and Volibear looks like he's going to finish off this Rift Herald.
Yep. Yeah, so pretty much exactly as we were talking about, we have a bit of a split map over here. The Rift Herald will be claimed by Tithalis, and now with this potential Rift Herald, it looks like they're going to be looking for a dive. Already setting up here. He knows that there's a ward there, so he's about to wait that Tomato Tom gets in range of the turret. And once he does, he starts walking in. Here comes the dive.
It's going to be an easy dive here. You cancel the tower.
Okay, Reese's Pieces already flashed up here in the top lane, and it's still going on. Reese's Pieces is in a 1v1 now against Top Thalos, but there isn't enough damage on the Volibear to finish off the kill just yet. So he's going to be able to get out with just his flash.
Yep, smart getaway there, and forces the Volibear flash with Zac as well. And here comes Twist Fate.
Here comes the Destiny's Gate. Thalos now, he's in a bit of a difficult position. Here comes the ultimate, the exhaust, but the HP is already very low. And Omnify is going to be able to take that kill, at least as a bit of a trade for that top lane turret.
I really like that follow-up flash by the Zac, stopping Volibear's ultimate with his own ultimate, and Omnify setting up that kill very nicely. He's almost finished the snare item. I forget what it was called, unfortunately.
God damn it.
Anyways, the item that
Everfrost,
snares
Everfrost,
champion,
Everfrost.
Everfrost, yes, very strong with Twist of Fate because it turns your 2-second stun into a 3-second stun because you can land it, follow up with your gold card right behind it, and looks like they're gonna pick up this second dragon as well. Very well played by Super Copium so far.
Yeah, Super Copium not only using that bot side advantage that they had to get another dragon, except, oh, okay, yes, it will be taken. Might is good. But also getting a return play onto that top side means that they're not that far behind in gold either, despite the first turret plate and all of that good stuff going over to Tomato Tom. Now, one thing that I want to see the Bisons start doing is starting to get Tomato Tom on that bot side of the map, rotating some of their players so that they can get even more plates, even more of an advantage on this Jack, so you can just keep being a menace in the side lane.
Yep, and alternatively, the same thing for Super Copium, right? They've done a much better job this game of not falling too far behind the top lane and getting ahead bot side. And they've managed to make it to the mid game up almost 15 minutes now with a very sizable lead in the mid and bot side while not falling as far behind the top lane as they did last game. Look for them to keep stacking dragons and making some big plays here with Zac looking. I feel like he should go mid next.
Yeah, maybe that is definitely a potential gank. The LeBlanc is very slippery here as we have a very heavy exchange here. Omnify, he's trying to look for the gold card, but he just gets popped. Here comes the Zac, though. He finds the invisible LeBlanc and manages to kill him off, but now he's in a bit of a dangerous spot. But I believe with that amount of hit points that he has, he should be totally fine. That sentence goes wide, and that is just a 1-for-1.
Yeah, well played by the Zac there, like you said, to find the invisible LeBlanc. Unfortunately, LeBlanc is one of those champions where if you go 1-for-1, it's almost always worth it because gold on LeBlanc is so important. Yeah, gold on LeBlanc is just much more valuable than gold on Twisted Fate. However, looks like they're going to make a play bot lane. Volibear is here, though.
Yep. And now you can see there on the gold graphs on your screen just how split the map is. Just with the gold. Lucian having a lot of gold, but also the Jackson is just on polar opposite sides of the map. As here we have a bit of a play here on the bot side. Super Copium, they fancied themselves a dive, but I think they went a little too far with this one. The Haymaker doesn't do enough damage, nor does it give nearly enough of a shield to keep him alive. Kept claims the kill.
Yep, Reese's Piece is a little bit overextended there. Jax still had his TP up as well, so even if it was a little bit closer, here comes LeBlanc.
Omnify, okay, very good fancy footwork there to dodge on both chains, actually. He's going to have to use the flash, but still a very good footwork there from the TF to be able to get out of a slight mispositioning situation there in the mid lane.
Yep, and just like we talked about earlier, he has switched that teleport after using it to Ghost, which means he's very safe in that mid lane. If he hadn't had blown the flash, he could have used the Ghost to get away as well. And meanwhile, Jax is just taking tower after tower.
Meanwhile, in the top lane, we have one raid boss of a Jax, but here comes the counterparty. Tomato Tom, he's going to use that counter strike to try and get out, but here comes the Q, the knockback. He's just going to ward hop out of there. Not even a ward hop, actually, just on a minion. This means that, oh, okay, Jim Cantamore is actually going for the re-engage. He pops his passive, the ultimate as well. The TP on top of the blob, the ultimate misses. The counter-strike comes down. That's a good stun. The phase breaker is also there. Kept is going down very low. Tomato Tom takes down Omnify. Reese's Species is also going to go down. What is going on? Why the TP?
The TP was to save the Zac by making that blob invincible, but I wasn't exactly happy with where he was on the map when he pressed that button. But respectable play, just didn't really work out in their favor, unfortunately. This LeBlanc getting stronger and stronger. It does look a little weird, but he is saving Zac with that TP. He basically traded his life for the Zacs, but unfortunately the TF Omnify died as well.
There's no shot, man. I'm not taking that explanation. There's no shot. There's no shot. You just walk away. Jim Cantamore made a mistake, and you have one man die instead of two. But instead, it is going to be two as well as a teleport. And man, I am not happy with that trade, I'll tell you that. But it's okay. Super Copium, they still have some options in the game. Their 5v5 fighting is not bad at all. But I just feel like we haven't got that game plan that they wanted to execute. The dives on the bot lane, where were they?
Yeah, I would have loved to see them keep that advantage on in the bot lane, Their Lucian is the very strong point of their team right now, and he was 1v1ing that Jinx bot lane while all that action was happening top. It's really unfortunate. Like I hate to mention it, but it is now 2 games in a row that Tomato Tom has doubled his opponent's CS. That's more than a Flame Horizon. That is, I don't even know what to call that now.
Yeah, I mean, we're not up to the Flame Horizon level quite yet, but I'm pretty sure we're going to get there here. As, okay, Kept, he's walking into a Zac and a tanky Braum, but he's not going to get stunned quite yet. Good reaction there on the Distortion. It looks like they might try to cancel this dive here, but okay, it looks like Laquinfius is kind of looking for something a little further here. Omnify, he's now in a 1v3 situation.
Nice
the fancy
juke.
footwork, he dodges, but doesn't dodge the death sentence, and you know what that means. Kept gets another kill. But here comes the engage from Jim. Okay, Tomato Tom's just gonna hop right out of there. I don't think there's any way that they're catching this Jax. And now it looks like the Bisons, they're fancying themselves a bottom dive.
Yep, and I like what the Bisons are doing here. The LeBlanc Thresh Brigade just running amok through the jungle. There's not thinking, dude, you can't catch them because they have so much mobility,
Shot
and
for
there's a hook.
Kept there. Here comes the hook as well as the chains. The Kingsland, he's in a very dangerous spot. What a beautiful flay to cancel a dash over the wall. That thresh flay was just absolutely beautiful. Props for Hune for that one.
Quinn just popping off, flaying him over. Let's watch this replay here. Braum is gonna, after getting caught by the chain by LeBlanc, he's gonna try and jump over to the Lucian, and you'll see here in the replay at the bottom of your screen, Thresh is gonna flay him right back over. Beautiful.
Incredible timing. And meanwhile, on the live portion of your screens, we have more fighting. Omnify is gonna get caught out by Tomato Tom. What a beautiful flash to try and catch Laquinfius. The last auto will not catch him, but here comes the LeBlanc just gonna pop. That's gonna be 1 kill traded, but that's it. It's a 1-for-3 in favor of the Bisons.
Yep, and meanwhile, Reese's P top lane getting a little bit of counterplay, but they're just popping off right now. LeBlanc now 5-1-1, hitting that power spike with the Luden's Echo. And yeah, this is, I mean, there's not much you can do when Volibear uses ultimate to cancel out that tower. You just get dove, and they're just not strong enough to survive the Jax LeBlanc damage right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an incredible team play coming in from the Bisons, using their picks so fantastically well. They know Reese's Pieces isn't anywhere on the map. He doesn't have his teleport, so they just go for the fight with the numbers advantage. And with the power that they have right now, I mean, it's more than enough. The LeBlanc is so good in these types of situations where you kind of just scrap all over the place, and you need to dash around, you need to be mobile, and to outplay your opponent is just so good. While Omnify not getting the value out of his TF like he wanted to in his early game, that Destiny's Gate is not going to give you anything. The entire team is already grouped up.
Yep, and it looks like
that
Zac's getting caught in the jungle here by LeBlanc Thresh again. This combination is just so hard to play against.
Yep, that is a double chain combo that you do not want to see. Jim, he's actually tanking for a very long time, but not long enough. Kept claims another kill, and that is one very fed LeBlanc now. Another death sentence connects, another chain connects. Reese's Pieces is going to use the Showmaker. Here it comes, but Kept, he's just going to dash away the Distortion, and that means the Baron.
Yeah, and what's crazy is if you thought LeBlanc was slippery now, wait until she gets her Cosmic Drive, which she's about to pick up as she bases here. It reduces her cooldowns by almost 50% once you pick up the item with at least 160 AP. Is she going to be able to purchase it? I think she's close. Oh, looks like she's TPing in.
Looks like a teleport in. They know that they have numbers advantage and the wallet advantage as well. Reese's Pieces is going to get caught by another chain. He's going to flash behind it, trying to find the W. It does okay damage, but it's not enough. He's just going to go down here. There's no way out. Tomato Tom claims another kill. And on the upper side of your screen, you actually see that's a very good escape plan. Jumping over the wall, there's no way it works. No!
Oh, no!
So unlucky at Kingsland. He's going to be the sacrificial lamb to get his 80 carry out.
Yeah, Lucian gets the recall off, but Braum is left behind there as Zac and TF try and kill Tomato Tom, but he's just too strong.
He's so strong. The only thing that he had to use was his ultimate, and that's all he needs. Clept. Oh my god. He's going in. That's another kill going over for the Thresh. Omnify, there's nothing he can do to protect his jungler. And this Jax as well as this LeBlanc are just popping off, moving around the map, claiming names.
Yep, and there's not much you can do as Super Copium anymore. There just isn't enough damage on your side to kill these champions. Jax was a great last pick Now that I think about it, against champions like the TF and the Lucian, that Counter Strike just you can't even gold card the guy. So very difficult. And the new Jax ever since I believe about 4 or 5 patches ago, the Counter Strike is on a
He's
very
actually
low
going
cooldown.
in, but again, here comes the Lucian. That's such a good Lantern. That is so unfair. So much effort to put into to kill this AD carry just to get bailed out by a Lantern. Here he comes Kept. He doesn't find the chain. It doesn't find the kill. But so much pressure is being put on Super Copium right now.
Yep, and they put they put everything into killing Jinx, and now she's back to full HP with that red buff. That's what Thresh does. He throws that lantern. He is playing the Guardian version of the Thresh, where you max W first and just save your teammates over and over and over again. Very annoying to play against, but very strong when he's on your team.
Oh yeah, you know you're happy when you have that Thresh on your team. You always have that passport out of a sticky situation with that Lantern. Tomato Tom here, he's splitting onto the bot side of the map. The rest of the team is pressuring the mid lane. The Drake is coming up in 10 seconds. With already one Ocean Drake in their pockets, the Bisons, they could completely take over this game, and they already have 10k gold lead with the Baron buff, with at least one Drake in their pockets, maybe two. Here comes Kept. He does so much damage. You have to be careful. Another death sentence
Glance.
connects. It's a set, but he's not tanky enough. He doesn't even have time to press W. Laquefius takes so much damage from the Jinx, and I think this game might just be a formality at this point.
Yep, they're just bullying Reese pieces on set this game. Yeah, they're going to take every single hit. This is looking like a little bit of a replay of the previous game, except the teams have been flipped around. They dominate.
Here
Super
comes
Copium.
Tomato Tom. The damage is just absolutely insane. Super Copium is so scared, as they should be. I mean, it's absolutely insane the amount of damage that these champions do on the Bison's team right now. They're going to take the double inhibitor as well as most likely the Ocean Drake.
Yeah, very unfortunate for the side of Super Copium. They try the team comp that they got beat in last game, and the Bison say, oh, yeah, go ahead, steal a team comp. We're going to beat you anyways. They pick up the second dragon, and a little common trend is the Bison seem to be completely okay with giving up the first 2 dragons. It's happened both games now, but they take over the mid game by getting very far ahead in that top and mid lane, or at least going even. And now the Cosmic Drive picked up by LeBlanc. Watch her jump around this map like an animal.
Oh yeah, I mean it's 3 items completed for Tomato Tom, 2.5 for Kept. Essentially 3, honestly. Those 2 components are so strong. Kept. He's going to distortion away. He's caught in a bit of a sticky situation, but he has that stopwatch. He's going to use it. The defensive teleport comes in, and it is a very fed Tomato Tom, but have they gone a little too far? The shutdown comes through. It's a 1v4. Tomato Tom, are you strong enough? The counter-strike on top of the TF. He jumps there. Is there enough damage to finish off Omnify? The Sterex is popped. He's going to jump again.
Oh
Flash
my God.
W. So much damage. He
The
just
lantern.
doesn't die. The counter-strike, the Lantern, he gets out. There's no way. And okay, this Thresh is now caught out. I think this is going to be the end for the Thresh.
back
The
in.
W does no damage. Tomato Tom, he's going back in. He has the counter-strike on top of him. The damage is absolutely insane. Jim, he's going to go down as well. That's a double kill for Tomato Tom. The Lantern to try to finish off a Kingsland. The flash over the wall by Hune. And I think this might just be the game. Look on the bottom right of your screen. Jinx is literally just ending the game. Meanwhile, they're chasing down the Braum, and it's actually going to be the FF from the side of Super Copium. Game 2 goes over to the Bisons.
What an ending to that game. Tomato Tom going 1v4 at the end there, and then the Thresh coming to save him. Wow. He goes back. Is this a best of 3? Just really
This is
quickly.
a best of 5, so this means that there's one other game for the Bisons to take so that they can win the finals, as well as those 5 144 hertz
Okay.
monitors.
Okay, so there's at least one more game, if not more, if Super Copium can look to pull out the next game here. Wow, what a game, Natural. That was something else to see. Tomato Tom just pop off at the end there. He TPs in 1v4, full of confidence. I thought he was done for, but he ended up surviving that counter-strike. Such a strong ability.
Absolutely. I mean, it is absolutely disgusting there. It's just that's the moment when your mental just kind of booms a little bit. You realize that even in a 1v4 situation, the champion can still just absolutely pop you. It's pretty hard. I don't even know what to say. I do think that there are some things that both teams could have done slightly better, but the Bisons are just looking so dominant right now.
Yeah, I can't help but agree with you. This is just, I mean, every game feels very close in the beginning as Super Copium has taken the first 2 dragons each game. However, I mean, this mid game is just so tough for the side of Super Copium. The Bison's just looking so strong that they have to figure out a way to prevent Tomato Tom from getting so far ahead each game. This guy is an absolute monster.
Absolutely. I mean, there has to be. I think right now, Super Copium, they absolutely need to. They absolutely need to find some way to cauterize the wound up in that top lane, or else it's just gonna be so hard. Uh, and it looks like we have an FF. It, I'm gonna confirm here. Mel is DMing me right now and telling me that one team apparently had to leave early.
Yeah, we're getting some notice here that the series might be over. That's the reason why I was saying whether this is the best of 3, as I was seeing GG's in the Twitch chat and on Discord. I was a little bit confused because we didn't see those in game 1. Um,
Okay, well, there you go. You have your winners of the preseason tourney. The Bisons take over, actually forcing the FF from Super Copium. Now, I do believe that it is also because Super Copium had something to do right after, so I'm not going to hold it against them for the FF. But, I mean, congratulations. A bit of anticlimactic, not going to lie. I'm kind of sad. But it's okay. I mean, GG to the Bisons. They did an absolutely fantastic job. I think, regardless of what game 3, 4, and maybe even 5 would have happened, I think the Bisons did deserve this. Absolutely beautiful play, especially from like a perspective of team coordination. I think they were so well coordinated, especially with those waves, and it was just absolutely beautiful play. And yeah, I mean, Tomato Tom, I think we could all agree MVP for this series.
yeah, I also agree. Congratulations to the Bisons winning 5, I believe, BenQ 144 hertz monitors. That was the prize for this weekend's preseason tournament for the CECS. We're back on the Red Bull analyst desk now, and I have one question to ask you. I think you just mentioned it as the MVP, but who is your no frills player of the series?
I mean, I didn't see game 1. I mean, I saw like the second half, but I wasn't even paying that much attention. I'll be completely honest with you. But yeah, Tomato Tom. I mean, Reese's Pieces is, I think there is definitely like a just a flat out like skill difference. I think in between two players. So I'm not too surprised that Tomato Tom kind of took control over the game. I will say I think Hune on that Thresh absolutely monstrous game too. I mean, he was just so crucial in not letting Super Copium just execute their game plan. So it's pretty hard for me to tell. I think it's clear that Tomato Tom was like a very good carry, but in terms of like actual play, I feel like I maybe give it over to Hune, or I have no clue how to pronounce that name of my mind. I'm sorry.
No, all good. I think it's Huyn. I
I
do
see.
have some Vietnamese friends that would kill me if I mispronounced that. So yeah, Huyn. But I like that. Just FYI, Tomato Tom was the player of the game for game 1, and yeah, I actually can't help but agree. Tomato Tom did play very well, but he is getting all the jungle pressure right against the player that he is
Not
quite.
to take
Yeah,
anything
not
away from him,
of
but yeah.
course, he is a really, really good player. I mean, probably the best player in this tournament. He is an ex-pro player. He did play for Clutch Gaming Academy, and
I don't know,
he's
man.
very,
That
very
that
strong player.
that flay, the lanterns were just so on
It
point.
was
I feel
just
like I
so
kind of
pretty.
have to get it for him. Yeah.
I agree.
But
That play over the wall was the play of the game.
absolutely beautiful play. Honestly, I think we've had such a banger of a tournament over these few 3 days. We've had so many memorable plays from Omnify absolutely popping off
Yep.
yesterday to the absolute beautiful League of Legends that we got to see today from the Bisons. That being said, unfortunately, that is going to be all for now. That is going to be the end of the tournament. I want to thank everyone that has come to play the tournament in the first place. It is an open tournament, which means that sometimes you just have to play against people who are better than you, and that kind of sucks. I'll be honest that but everyone came out. I think everyone had game plans. Everyone had plans to actually take it over, and I think that is absolutely fantastic. Now, tell me, Maurice, this was your first time casting a tournament. I want to have your thoughts on this. How did you enjoy it?
Oh, this is so much fun. I mean, everybody has been so kind. All the casters, the people behind the scenes, Mel, Stefano, Kieran setting up every stream. for all 3 days. Just amazing people all around. I'm super happy with Manitoba Esports and the CECS. Thank you for casting with me the last couple days. It's been awesome. Um, yeah, I have nothing but great things to say. Congratulations to the winners, the Bisons, also a University of Manitoba team coming home with 5 BenQ monitors for the team. And thank you for the sponsors, right?
Yep,
I believe,
absolutely.
yeah, I
I'll
believe we
give them a
have,
quick shout out.
yeah,
We have a jack.org, beautiful mental health institution. Go check them out. Powerland that actually supplied the monitors that we're going to be sending out. Red Bull, of course. No Frills, Brooklyn Bodega, and Sailab Bean are our sponsors for this tournament. And that being said, my name was Natural. Go follow me on @NaturalCast if you liked my casting and want to see more of it. And besides that, I mean, any last words?
no, thank you, Natural. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And I believe we're out. It's been
Absolutely.
Maurice.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much for coming. Reese's Pieces, if you hear this, have a wonderful barbecue, my dude. And yeah, that's going to be all for us. Thank you. Have a nice day.
yeah, take it easy, guys.